When we perceive a scene or some form of engagement, we see and are aware of 7 parts versus a million parts that we're unaware. It's just fascinating. Why would it be that God creates the world, that we perceive merely 7 parts versus a million parts that we don't perceive, that we get it subconsciously on some level? Fascinating question. Why God creates the world that way. We see so little, seemingly, yet we think we know so much. So we perceive so little, there's so much more to perceive, no doubt. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege, a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We continue in chapter 48 to understand what it means, reciprocal love. How do we reciprocate to the Creator? How do we reciprocate? Think about what God has done for us, so we reciprocate. What's the greatest thing that God has done for us? We're going to get there. We're in the midst of a thought that will continue. Will continue inch by inch, step by step. Stay tuned. We've established that God creates the world, and the fact and how I am here and you are here is, in one word, tzimtzum, contraction. God contracts upon the Ein Sof, the limitless light of Him, in order to allow a ha'ara, a glimmer of a light, that is the force of God that brings into existence and animates me and you. That is such an utterly insignificant quality of illumination of God, that light that is after the contraction, that clothes itself in the higher spiritual worlds and in this low physical world to provide life, to sustain life. But when compared to the quality of the hidden, concealed light of God that's of an infinite order, it does not clothe itself within creation or exercise its influence in the worlds in a revealed manner. Is it here? Absolutely. It's like the subconscious mind, that the million parts, it's here, but not in a way that exercises an influence that we experience it. It remains aloof, if you will. We call that, in the terminology of Kabbalah or Chassidus, soivev kol amin, an encompassing light. Why is it encompassing? What does it mean? It encircles, it encompasses, meaning it's beyond creation. It's beyond our perception. It doesn't mean that it's encircling in a physical way, like, my hat encircles my head, and others it's beyond, right? Or if my hand encircles and envelops a ball, right? The fist, meaning it's beyond it. So in a physical manner, it means something that's encompassing is not inside the thing. My hand is encompassing my fist. It's not inside of my fist, right? That which encompasses is greater than what's encompassing. And especially, this is only one thing, but imagine the infinite light of God that encompasses all of creation, everything of creation. So it's something beyond. We don't mean beyond physically, because it's a spiritual thing that we're talking about, but it's beyond exercising an influence that we have an awareness to, an experience of, right? The worlds they experience or has an awareness, or we have an awareness, to the limited light of God, that which encloses itself within creation, right? That becomes manifest and revealed. And that animates us in a finite, limited form. So in the way that we perceive, only 7 parts of any experience, as opposed to the million parts that we don't, that the only subconscious mind has access to beyond our awareness, right? But so what's the main thing? What's the main light of God? That which is within me, that gives specific form of creation to me versus an animal, me versus an angel. Well, the main light is the infinite light of God that is not contracted, that's makiv in circles, soiviv encompassing. Its influence upon me is not something that I have an awareness. It's not revealed. It's beyond. Well, if it's beyond, then what's its value? Well, that'll be the forthcoming class. That'll be forthcoming. So from this, we can understand and appreciate there's 2 basic forms of God animating creation, animating me. That which is vested within me, right? Which is something I can have some kind of perception and awareness. Difference between what a hand is and an eye is, for example, is being animated specifically because it's investiture of the divine light, a very, very small portion of the infinite light. Again, metaphorically, 7 parts versus the million parts, right? More than a million, it's infinite, but in the analog. And then there is that part of God animating the world that is encompassing beyond. It doesn't vest itself in, and therefore we don't have a revelation of that light, that you can have an awareness of it. It's something beyond. But is it here? Absolutely. Do we have access to it? Absolutely. And we have access to more than that, God himself. But we're going here inch by inch, step by step, to bring out what's called the reciprocal love of God. But you have to wait for that. Any questions, any comments? Yeah, I don't see any questions today.
We're not negated.
Right. Okay. More to come. Rambam is coming up, folks. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zurich and Kadesh. It's a privilege and pleasure to share with you the Tanya.